travel writers, different destinations that want to bring influencers and people out to their destinations to go and blog and write about it. So those are job opportunities. Definitely calls for submissions for Matador, because we're always looking for, you know, different new voices, different voices to participate. Yay! No worries, no worries. You're cool. But yeah, I have my cards here, and if you have cards, like definitely throw them my way. Yeah, you know what? Let me just like pass my stacks. Yeah. I'm gonna pass my stacks. We all want your cards. These are my business cards.
Oh, where are you sitting there? I'm sorry.
Maybe I should sit there.
Sorry,
I'm filming. You want to sit here?
Yeah.
Here, you can pass this around. This is her card.
I won't kick you.
Oh my god, okay. Hey, where are you?
Take a picture of all these people.
Do you want one of her cards?
Oh, sure.
Take a selfie with you guys.
Selfie?
Ready? Take a picture of all these beautiful faces. Whoa! Go, Mom. Thanks. Sorry, selfie partner. Sorry, that was also I guess I touched my screen a lot. My cat touched the screen.
Oh my gosh, this is really unfortunate.
What happened? Tweet it at me or something. Yes.
It's like a very powerful woman shot.
Oh, what? I want all of those. You have to tweet them to me, man. Okay. Like, I'll have my personal Twitter on here too. Or email it through, or text it. My phone number's on there too.
How do you talk? How do you respond?
Watch this. Well, you're going to talk to them. Here, watch this. Watch. So, here, and I just.
I'm filming now.
Right. Is anybody watching? Does anybody care?
6 people.
Oh, watch this.
Does anybody care?
Because you don't just scroll.
When you trained, so they took into Brooklyn, and then I realized I had to actually go back into Manhattan more. What did you guys do? How was dinner? Where did you go?
Oh, we went.
I don't even know what was Chinese.
Or what did you eat?
We went Chinese food.
Okay.
Always
I know.
like we went to like Oxford and they were all full. Like one place had 2 hours wait. And then Wednesday night, like
Yep. It was right. It was right. Like in a way from where. Yeah.
yeah, we were different sort of house.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just got for
I'm with these awesome travel bloggers. All women, all times. No, I didn't say anything. Anybody asks me to say, let's I know what it is. Hi, Vicky. How are you, my darling? Nice to see you. Everybody's always just checking where you're from. Let me know. I got a whole lot of people who are at the Wyndham, New York City, and Chinatown. It's some awesome travel bloggers.
No, yeah, I want to do that. I also dropped that book for you. It was a lot. Yeah, but it has so many markings in it, so you have to like just sift through. Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it was
blogger, I forget to like author. To make a better blogger and then moving closer to it. All right.
So look at this. They're actually doing Periscope. They're doing the perk camera. Hi, it's Vicki Winters, guys. If you don't know me, I'm my big fat mouth. Some of you already follow me. What's going on? Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, there's a bunch of milfs here. There's a bunch of gilfs here. I'm the gilf, baby. You want some gilfs? You got it. What's going on?
You better succeed or you're getting kicked out of the family. Yeah. It was intense. She was an anxious. I texted my husband. I was like, I feel so ashamed.
It's hard to pick between the top 10.
You're holding your scope up. It's not. You're my stuff now. So now you So you guys swipe to the right and have the monitor let you
We're just running low on time. Out the presentation, but we'll get it sorted in a bit. So, yeah, please take it away.
So I'm just gonna run with it. Hopefully we'll figure this out. But so yes, I am the social media director for Matador Network. And Matador Network is the world's largest publisher of travel media online. We do a lot of video, we do like lots of photography, and of course we have like journalists writing for us. Lots and lots of contributors. We're always looking for new contributors. So I sent my business cards around. I would love it if you guys like reached out to me, definitely so that I can have your contacts too, because we have like a lot of new amazing stuff that's happening this year. For one, we just launched this thing called the Marketplace, which is a place where we have lots of opportunities for bloggers and writers and photographers and videographers to, like, you know, a lot of times a destination really has no idea how to reach out to bloggers, and social media is kind of like a new thing to them. So they're looking for people savvy as ourselves to like give them these tips, these tools, and to reach new audiences. So yes, join up for the Marketplace. Send me your information so I can send you an invite to try out our new app. Hopefully, I've got like screenshots of things, but that's okay. I just restarted my computer, so hopefully that'll work out. But if you want to find us on social, it's at the @Matador Network, and that's on Twitter, on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. So, okay, a lot of times people, like, they ask me, like, how do you be successful at social media? And that's like a really broad question. It's like super broad. But, you know, I could sit here and tell you like a bunch of algorithms, or like tips of things, like technical things that you can do, which like I do have some technical things, but in all honesty, like it's changing so rapidly and so quickly that a lot of times like something technical that I can give you right now, or like some algorithm trick that I can give you now, is probably not going to work next week. So I run it by like 3 basic rules, just to like broad rules that, you know, are just helpful in a lot of different ways in a lot of different industries, and not just like social media, but with almost everything that you do. And the first rule is to just like be yourself. When you're on social media, why it's so successful is that it was a platform created to engage individuals with their personality. So just let your real personality just kind of shine through, because who you truly are is going to resonate with people. And you know, if you come off fake, or if you try to be something that you're not, like people can tell. And it's also very hard to keep up a facade consistently. The second rule is to just kind of like be real. So be real about the destinations you go to visit. Be real in the stories that you share. Again, like don't try to sell to people, because people can really, you know, on social media, be more of like their friend. And that's like actually the difference between like a company and like an individual, and like why individuals are tending to be way more effective on social media, is that they have like human personalities. So brands are actually trying to take on these human personalities, and I like to call them your like BFF, your brand friend forever. So, you know, just be real. Don't sell too directly, but at the same time, just speak authentically to the experience that you had with either a place or a product or whatever. If like you move on in your job and you start getting sponsorships. Okay, so much wrestling. If you move on and you start getting sponsorships, even just be, you know, conscientious and ethical in how you're presenting that to your audiences. And like my last like kind of like inspirational tidbit, and then we'll kind of get into more like deeper things, is to just be social. You'd be really, really surprised with like companies, like big companies, and like individuals that are forgetting that social media is social. So engage with other people. Find your tribe on social, like retweet them, engage with them, like truly take in their content. Even try to partner with them, like say, hey, you know, I see you're a great writer, but you know, they might acknowledge that they're a crummy photographer. And if you've got photography, you'll say, hey, let's go on a trip together, and yeah, like I can be your photographer and you can be the writer, and like then you start reaching that person's audience and they're reaching your audience. So it's kind of like a nice swap. You can also do content sharing, like different publications do syndications, like, you know, where I would say, you know, at Matador maybe we'll post something from another publication, and then they'll post some of ours, so that we are reaching those audiences, those new audiences. So I would like to at least open this slide so that,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you. Sorry
No.
guys. So I wanted to go over like asset management. Like a lot of times when we're traveling, we have like so many photos, lots of video. We're putting it on, yes, I call it cross-platform promotion. I'm just gonna hit play on that and just, okay, so it's like an outline for me. So yes, managing your assets and cross-platform promotion. As an individual, like, you know, I'm sure a lot of you are bloggers and writers, and you're going to a place, you're taking a lot of photos, you're taking a lot of videos, and then like, what do you do with all of that at the end? Well, a lot of us put it onto a website. That's a great place to start. You put it on a website and the whole story is kind of there. And it's like a well-rounded story, like approaching the destination or the topic from, with a video maybe, like so it's more visually engaging, like a slideshow of photos with like captions that are, that kind of give more details of like the visual side of the story that you experienced, and then an article, and then you have that, and maybe you post the link to Facebook. But like, what else can you do with all of that? So I would just recommend like breaking down those components. So taking maybe some of the photos you had in that photo gallery, and Facebook now has this thing called the slideshow, which here's like a tidbit, like Facebook is a platform. It's probably one of the most powerful platforms. It's like very scary how powerful it is. But of course, everyone talks about this like Facebook algorithm. Facebook doesn't want you to leave Facebook. Facebook favors content that lives on Facebook. So if you're providing a link that like encourages people to click out of Facebook, it's probably not going to show up as often on Facebook's newsfeed as, say, like a photo that you post onto Facebook and it's living there on Facebook, or a video that you upload natively to Facebook. Videos are just like crazy effective when you upload it directly to Facebook. So, taking some of those, maybe you post the link and you have that, but also, using all of that to kind of drive traffic in more unique ways. So maybe uploading a native video to Facebook and like creating a bit.ly link and like saying like, oh, watch more of this on here. You can create slideshows now with your photos, which are like miniature videos that it makes right on Facebook. So taking some of the photos that you took on a trip and, with a caption of like, oh, I went on a shopping spree in New York City, see what I got, and like having a link to, the entire story. I have not explored Canvas yet. That was something that popped up last week. Has anyone used Canvas?
Canva?
Canva. I love that. That's like, an alternative to Photoshop and create really beautiful like images and captions. But Canvas is something new on Facebook that it's supposed to be an integration of like photos and video, something that is new to me. So, anywho, then you can also explore taking your media assets and taking it onto other platforms, tweeting out photos. Everybody, like a lot of people are saying that, a lot of people are like very visual based now, and it's totally true. That's how you can really grab someone's attention. I really love that, by the way, Annie Griffith's. Oh, my spirit animal. She like had these photos that were just like, what I really liked is like, kind of going back to the be yourself. Like, I don't know if anyone's ever felt this, but have you ever been on like a press trip, or like been to a place that a lot of other people have been to before and just been completely intimidated by like everybody else and saying like, well, so many other bloggers wrote about this, why should I write about this? Well, I say to you, like, every place, every experience you have is going to resonate with you differently. It's going to resonate with you completely uniquely to everybody else that has ever been in that place. And, that's why your story deserves to be told. So with Annie Griffith, like some of her photos, it's like, how many people have been to the Arch in St. Louis and like just taken a photo of it? Like, there's tons of photos of it, but the way she took it was like, it was a familiar place seen in a completely different way. I loved that. And yeah, and I think that's, going back to being yourself and being real. Like, what's most successful and what people really relate to more are those types of stories. But anyway, going back to the cross-platform promotions, Instagram, like taking a lot of your stories, like shorter stories, shorter versions of the long-form essay that you wrote on your blog, just like posting those on Instagram. And I love how you can, oh, isn't it such a time saver? Like you can have Instagram go to Twitter, you could have it post to Facebook. I know, I'll get into this a little bit later, but I know for Matador, I use a lot of auto posting, a lot of like scheduling programs because we publish at such a rate that is just like way too fast for one human to possibly manage. Like I would probably have to be working right now. Like at one point over the summer, last summer, we were publishing like 20 posts per day. It was like every hour. And I was like, I can't work 20 hours a day. That's absurd. And that's impossible. But yeah, so leveraging, a question.
What auto programs are you talking about?
Yes, okay. So fast forwarding. Sorry. Oh. Sorry, guys. So, here you go. Oh, look, thank you. So that was in my tools. Okay. I use a program called ifttt.com. It's ifttt. It's free, which is great. Yes, we love free. Because some of the ones I'm going to talk about are, you know, you can pay for them. And I'm a firm believer in definitely like when you get to a point, when you get to like that kind of plateau, you like just invest in yourself. You know, you guys are here. You invested in this show. Awesome step. Like, yeah, don't be afraid to invest in your business because like this is a business. But ifttt, completely. It's called if this then that, which is like programming slang. So basically, you can set it up. I have a few that are set up that's like when something posts to Matador Network, it goes to a feed, a news feed, and then from that news feed, it updates Facebook with like an excerpt, and you know, the photo and the link to the post that's on our website. Then from there, I have it set up another formula. So it says if feed item for Matador Network is created, a link will post on Matador Network, the Facebook site. So from there, Facebook then pings Twitter and goes, oh hey, we have like a new post on the Facebook, now post it to Twitter. And it'll go with, and what's more effective, like I've seen a lot of different like formulas set up. I have it set up so that it posts with an image and it posts with like the title of the article and the link to the article. And there's like a lot of different ways to like go about this. And it's like, that's not all we do on Twitter. Like it's just to kind of fill in the time for me to come in and bring more of a human aspect to the brand, because it's just like way too much to keep up with as one person. You can set it up to do a lot of things. There's, you know, updating from Instagram to Twitter. Again, like sometimes different platforms don't speak too friendly to one another. So sometimes if you automatically set something to go from Facebook to Twitter, sometimes it won't post an image. Well, with ifttt, it will post an image. Same thing like Instagram and Twitter sometimes don't speak too friendly with one another. So if you say like in the Instagram app, like, oh, post this image to Instagram, it just comes up with a nasty link and, you know, hardly anyone clicks on it. But through ifttt, you could say, you know what, post my Instagram photo to Twitter. And so every time, I have it set up on my personal one. It's a little too much to set it up on Instagram, but we have other, you know, programs that go along with it. So that's ifttt.
Can I ask a question about that?
Yes.
Does that appear as a native post then? Because I know Facebook's edge weight goes down if you try to post a link from Twitter or Instagram onto it. So does that appear as a native post when you schedule it with ifttt?
Yes, and it like doesn't even, it like has like a link that's kind of like ifttt. Like I don't try to do it the other way, because yeah, you're right. When you like try to auto post things to Facebook from other platforms, it doesn't do too well. So I have it going the other way. So when it's like Facebook kind of being the cornerstone, and then just kind of like dispersing it to all the other channels. Oh, these deep secrets, these deep industry. Oh my, I hope I'm not spilling too many beans at Matador. That's okay. Another free thing that I use now for Twitter is this thing called TweetDeck. Okay, cool. A lot of people use TweetDeck. From there, you can track lots of different conversations going on. So you have your news feed. Say there's like a Twitter chat going on. You can set kind of like a column to follow. Like sometimes I participate in the budget travel chat. I think it's like on a monthly basis, but they're #BT_chat, so that when the chat is going on, that feed constantly, updates. Yeah, and I wish you guys could see it. I can also email this to you guys, like just so you can see my resources here. And not only that, but you could schedule things, which like saves so much time. There's nothing, I love doing this. I'll sit on like a Sunday night, like tonight. Sunday night, I'm gonna be on my couch with my cat, with something on TV, some type of cartoon, maybe Adventure Time, I don't know. I love cartoons. I'll have cartoons, wine, I'll just sit for like an hour or two scheduling out posts, and you'll see just like how much wine I've gone through. You're like, oh, I can tell that Kehlani's getting super sassy on Matador. But that's like, just schedule out your time. I know it, like, all of this is so overwhelming. Like, I sometimes get overwhelmed by the immense power of social media and all of the things that you need to do. The fact that, like, Matador had to hire a person to manage their, their social media, it takes up all my time, like almost all of my time. And like, there's a lot of companies that have teams of people that like have to come in, they got their Instagram team and then they got their Facebook team. And yeah, like this is an intense job to do on your own. But you can. You just need to like really like schedule out that time and be like really disciplined. Oh, questions.
I'm sorry.
Go for it,
Scheduling,
Michelle.
do you have to do 24/7? Like how often do you have to schedule the content in a sense?
I try to disperse it. Like I said, like I'll sit down for like an hour here or there throughout the week and just like really just like schedule out posts that I know will be in between the things that are going to be auto posted.
Okay. But like at 3 a.m. or is there like a cutoff time that you
Oh yeah, so like the
yeah.
conversations like, oh, is there like peak times on social media? And I've come to find out that like, yeah, it's a little bit weak overnight. So like from midnight, midnight East Coast time to like 4 a.m. It's like it's a lull, but it's not impossible. Yes.
If I can just respond to that.
Sure. Yeah.
Understand that everybody is in the travel world in here. So your audience is probably not only in the States.
Yeah.
So you really have to understand where your audience is, where you've spent a lot of time overseas because you're going to have a lot of followers in that area. I know I spent 12 years in Southeast Asia, so I know I have loads of followers there. So I literally go 24 hours a day. I mean, it's not, so you really have to, I'm not a big fan of those things. The best time to post on Facebook is 10 a.m. because you don't know my audience. My audience may not have normal jobs. My audience might be travelers. My audience might be, so you really have to dissect and dive into your analytics of your audience to know when the best time to post.
Yeah, definitely. And I agree with that. I know with Matador's audience, like I see it's a lull. It's not completely dead. It's a lull. I'll still post things, but like, yeah, I feel like the argument of like, oh, when's the best time to post is completely objective. And like Scott, yes, Scott. Like what Scott said is that like it's definitely up to your audience. I do have some analytics tools too to go through. But yeah, that's TweetDeck. Or oh wait, yeah, we had other questions too.
I wanted to ask about so Instagram, right? I use it, but you can only use it from right here.
Yeah.
So the idea of taking a bigger blog post and breaking it down and putting the travel photos with it, but how do you actually manage all that when you can only do everything from this device?
There's this, I know, their API is like super on lockdown. You can't even like schedule posts to like auto post to Instagram, so it's way more manual. There's Latergram. Yeah, there's something called Latergram where it'll just remind you like, oh, you said that you were going to post this. So you can create a lot of content beforehand and it'll just like ping you at the time that you said you wanted to post it, and then you go in and you post it. I recommend like definitely checking out hashtags, and like we'll get more into like analytics a little bit later, but like I will create like a caption and then post it, and then immediately the first comment will be just like hashtags. I know that's probably, I don't know if that's kosher, but it works. It works for my personal one. We don't necessarily do that at Matador because we have like 166,000 followers. But to build up your audience from the get-go, like try to get in on those conversations. Okay, so these are like paid ones. There's another app that we use called Meet Edgar, and that's MEET Edgar.com. It's about $60 a month. And this is like when you really need to save yourself some time and you have a lot of content in a backlog. So what you do is like you have a bunch of categories, and I'm trying to think of like, we'll have something called mega posts. Mega posts on Matador Network. Mega posts is like things that posted to Facebook before that performed really, really, really well. And Facebook's cache, as it's called, remembers that link and goes, oh yeah, this link was super popular back in the day. Let's show it to more people's news feeds or whatever. So mega posts is like a category on Meet Edgar. And what we do is like we create just a backlog of tons of content that did well on Facebook, and we set it on a schedule to say, okay, at this time we're gonna pick content from the mega post category at like 10 a.m. and we're gonna post it to Facebook. And then you can have like a ton of other like categories too. Like we have the travel stoke hashtag, so hashtag travel stoke. We go through, we find some of our, and like I say we because I work with a person who works part-time on part-time on our Instagram. It helps me out a lot, saves me a lot of time. But like we'll go through the hashtag travel stoke. We'll pick out our favorites or pick out things from like our ambassadors or people from the Matador U, and we'll put that into Meet Edgar as like, category for it to feed from and say, hey, you know what? At this time on maybe Twitter or maybe on LinkedIn or maybe on Facebook, just use something from this category and post it. And that saves a lot of time. It like, seriously, it will deplete the category entirely before it starts to repeat. So you'll see like if you have 60 things and it posts 60 things from that category, it'll go back again and just restart over. Or now they actually launched something called like a shuffle. Sorry about those slides, but that's another app that we use. And then another thing we use is called Sprout Social. Does anyone use Sprout? Cool, someone uses Sprout. You can sign up for like a free, they have like a very, very good free trial. I think it's like for a month, and to test it out. So you could do scheduling through this. I don't necessarily use scheduling through this, but it dives in a little bit more into your audience, and it'll show you like people who engage with your content more frequently, like their actual profiles. You can compare yourself to other like Twitter handles or compare yourself to other accounts. And what I really primarily use this for is the reporting. Any questions? Or did you have a question?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about TweetDeck. I know sometimes you said with TweetDeck, you could track conversations like certain tweets, like Twitter chats. Like sometimes when I'm at work, the Twitter chat comes on like at 1 o'clock, and I'll take a break, and I'll take my lunch break at that time.
I used to do that
too. Exactly, it's crazy. And it's like, now with TweetDeck, are you able just to, like, if I want to be on like cheapo, I don't know, Expedia chat or whatever, and I'm able just to highlight that particular Twitter chat? Isolate that?
Oh man, I'll bring it back. This is my computer. Okay. So you can just like set up a column of whatever chat that you're like focusing on, and like it'll just update, you know, all of what people are talking about when they use that hashtag.
Okay.
And you can even, what I like about it is you can like hover over the like whatever tweet you liked, and it'll give you an option to retweet or reply or yeah. So it's like a really great time saver rather than just like being on your phone or rather than being like on the Twitter. Yeah, like on the Twitter app online. What other? Analytics. Analytics are so important, and like Scott said, like Scott, I like remember you from your handle. All I want to say is like Mr. Scott Eddie. But yes, analytics are so important. It's really important to know your audience and know who you're talking to, and to just like have a consistent kind of like voice and consistent branding as you embark on your social media adventures. Some of the analytics programs that we use include, well, the Sprout Social. I use a lot of those analytics. Facebook has their insights for pages, and it really does. It breaks down like, oh, I loved talking about this on the leadership call the other day, which like, you know, as like a female manager in like a boys club, like, you know, it came to our knowledge that like most of our followers are women on Matador Network, and they're 2 times more likely to engage with our content. So I was like, yeah, one for the ladies. So yes, analytics, get to know your audience. I use Sprout Social to see like, you know, what types of content are they engaging in. Is it more like visual? Is it more images? What types of articles do they like? Do they like the we call them identity pieces, which are kind of like the things a New Yorker would never say, and it like has to be written by a New Yorker because like only a New Yorker would really know what a New Yorker would not say. Or is it more trip planning? Do they like those kinds of articles? So analytics can be very revealing to your audience. Yes.
Just so you know, Twitter did a massive update to their analytics last month, and it's as good as any paid analytics service that you can possibly get. It even breaks down, you can tell what kind of what phone service your audience is using, AT&T or Sprint. Like, it's crazy in depth. It's insane.
Yeah, and for companies, like, we really want to know what type of device people are using, because it's like, that's how sometimes you can deliver advertisements. You know, do we need to focus more on mobile advertising versus like desktop advertising? But that's like a little bit, you know, that's on the more corporate side. Another thing that I just discovered this week that I really, really like is called Demographics Pro. DemographicsPro.com gives you this like very creepy, accurate description of your audience. It basically uses an algorithm on different platforms. I used it for Twitter and Instagram because Instagram, like I said, it's like really hard to determine, like their API is like locked down. It's really hard to get any type of like good analytics out of that. Well, this was able to, it has an algorithm that runs through your followers and kind of tells you, based off of their behaviors and based off of the other things that they follow and based off of the things that they like engage with outside of your page, like, you know, what types of jobs are they in, what their kind of income is, what their ages are, if they're male or female, what activities are they interested in outside of what you're talking about. So, you know, with our Instagram, we realized like, oh wow, people like skiing and they like cycling. Aside from travel. And then it also like pits you against like, oh, these people also listen to NPR and they enjoy the New York Times. And like, so it gives you this like profile of like, you know, creepily, like what are these people up to? What are they reading? What are they interested in? So like you want to take it to the next level of like, okay, should I partner with people outside of like the travel industry? So, you know, at Matador, we recently ran like a campaign with GMC, and we like partnered with like a rock climber, and we partnered with Jen Widestrom from The Biggest Loser to do like a little fitness video, and yeah, so you could do fun, interesting stuff like that. Yeah, so Demographics Pro, Facebook has their own analytics, Twitter has great analytics as well. Demographics Pro actually like lets you use the program 5 times for free, which honestly, when you're looking for like just kind of a rundown of your of the people that are following you, I used it twice this week, and that was sufficient. So you can buy things on an ad hoc basis, but kind of running through. So how much time do I have? I don't want to.
They're about to finish upstairs, but you can go for another 15 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. My last bit was going to be on community building. So the things that you're doing right now, just like getting out there, meeting people personally, actually engaging with people. Because like I said, social media is social. Like I've worked with some brands in the past, like before Matador, I've worked with like different companies in different sectors, like one including, pardon me, one being like a very large university in Philadelphia. And the fact that they felt like they were so hoity-toity, they just were like, no, we're only going to post our content. We're only going to post our things. It's like, you're just completely siloing yourself off, being lonely off in a corner. But when you could really grow and build your audience with just like, you know, working with other people, engaging, setting up like social partnerships and, you know, saying, hey, you know, I love this article. I think my audience would love it too. Can I post it? And in return, you know, I'd love to reach your audience. Here's something that, like, here's a few things that I wrote. Could you post, you know, something of mine? There's nothing wrong with asking. What's the worst that they're going to say is no?
Right. Amen.
Yeah. But like, different, you know, you can join groups. There's lots of organizations. I know here in New York, there's definitely a lot of groups that you can go out to, cocktail events that you can go out to, lots of conferences like this that you can go to. But in the, like the, what's that?
Meetups.
Meetups.
Yeah.
I do love meetups.
I have my own.
Yes.
And it's women get together every week, every month and talk about travel. It's just
whoa, what is it called?
Transform via travel in Milwaukee.
Transform. Oh wait, you did the
I did.
Yeah, the okay, yeah, the photos. Yeah.
I have a question about Matador.
Sure.
Is there, because I went to the travel program, so I'm a graduate of Matador U, but is there a way that I can see other people in my city, like San Francisco, that have graduated from Matador U that I can like,
yeah, I think we have some like filters set up where you could see like based off of their location. Like if you go into, there's a tab for members, which okay, like I guess I'll go into this like.
Sorry if I
no, it's cool. It's like a great lead-in. We have the Matador U, which is an online like school, not so much school, but just like a resource for travel media producers. Whether you're a photographer or a writer or videographer, and you want to just like bring your, you know, work up to the next level, or just like get your work reviewed by your peers, by Matador editors, you know, just join the school. I think too, like, people get like a little intimidated by the price tag. I think they also forget that like you can actually sign up for Matador U. There's a part of it that's for free, which will give you access to like the forums. So you could just go up and just like post your questions and say, hey, you know, I'm stumped on this. Who has like, you know, experience with that? And like a bunch of people, like it's a really active forum. I saw the other day that someone started a thread of like, let's all be Instagram friends. And he was like, hey, post your, it was Joshy Washington, if anyone follows Joshy Washington. Anyone? Oh, there's like old school blogger. He posted like, let's all, you know, follow each other on Instagram and support one another on Instagram. And everyone, it was just like a thread of people's Instagrams. So that's another part of the Matador U. And if you know, if you felt as though you needed like a workshop through the U, we have that available to you. But a new thing that's part of the Matador U is, like I said, the marketplace earlier. And it's not like, it is postings of job opportunities within the travel industry. It's definitely, it's calls for submissions for not just Matador Network, but for other publications. Sometimes we'll have, you know, a guidebook who's like, we need this place updated. Do you have someone within your network that has this skill set? And pardon me for a second. So there's that aspect of the marketplace, but if you are a travel journalist who's like, you know, I want to team up with a videographer and I want to work on this project, you yourself can like reach out to us and say, you know, I'd like to create a posting to like meet up with another videographer to work on like a project. So there's that aspect of the marketplace as well. And if you're interested in, you know, signing up, it's marketplace.matadoru.com. And you can also send me an email. I would also love to collect all y'all's business cards if you'd like. Or if you do have my business card, you can text me, email me, whatever. I'll send you my slideshow, which I'm so sorry that it didn't work out. I'll send you my slideshow as well as other notes. And if you ever have any questions, I'm super social myself, like I'll answer them. Because I do believe too, I personally believe like we're not competing with one another. I think that everybody can be super successful at this.
Preach it.
Because again, like we're all going to tell a different story. Like I'm not going to get intimidated with like, oh, you're going to write a food roundup of New York? That's cool. Like I'm not gonna.
There's a lot to do.
Yeah. Anywho, so there's that. But we also have the app, the Travel Stoke app that's coming out, which I want to invite all of you into it. It's still in its beta, so you'll get the advantage of like being one of the first ones into the app. Just to try it out, let us know what you think. Definitely, we're looking for a lot of feedback on it. But
What was that called?
oh, it's Travel Stoke app. And like
Okay, so like bathtub.
yeah, like Stoke, like it's our hashtag too, which is it's TRAVELSTOKE, West Coast Stoke. Yes, but I have to actually like send you an email with like a specific link because it's not on the App Store yet.
Can you just shout out your email address for those of us that didn't get your card?
Sure. And I have like a few more cards. I sent all my stack. Oh, okay, good. There's some there. But my email address is kae@matadornetwork.com. And also too, oh man, definitely like tweet at me. My personal Twitter is like @Kaylani Says, so KAELANI Says, SAYS. I had to think for a second, like I'm really bad at spelling. But yes, so the Travel Stoke app, you know, you take photos with your phone in different places. You know, if you're eating at a restaurant, show us what you're eating. Review what you're eating. Tell us about it. You know, give us like an insider tip of like, oh, I tried this, but I really wish I had this meal instead. What I really like about it is like when you look at a destination, I was actually really impressed. Like I think we have like a couple people doing this in New York because I looked at it last night and there was like all these like places. Someone's been like eating a lot in New York. I don't know who it is, but like I was like, oh wow, there's destinations already put in here for New York. But yeah, just taking those pictures, you can see what other people are up to. We're going to build itineraries in it and build trip planning guides from the content that's in here. So like those are the future goals for it. But we just really need the people to help us build it out. And especially if you're traveling, if you're going places, like we would love that. We would please send that over. You know, we are a network of people who are super passionate about travel. We just want to share that passion with people, and we want the other people to share that passion with us. So like, definitely contribute. It's the publication that I kind of started out on. Like I started as just a freelance writer for Matador, and now I'm their social media director. So yeah, slogan. Beautiful slide that you can't see, that is travel is people. We definitely believe that travel isn't just about the places, it is the people that you meet. Social media, very human driven platform. It's driven by people. Our publication is driven by people, so yes.
I have a question. I was actually torn with this. I think I know the answer. I have a friend of mine that actually has a blog, and she made her social media private, and I was like, that's interesting. I never made mine private because I was like, I want people to find me, obviously.
Exactly.
So does that hurt you when you do make it private?
I mean, that's just up to the person. I've known people who just have their travel persona as like a a page or group or whatever on Facebook, and then they have their personal stuff kind of private, and that's like for their family and their friends. It's all up to discretion.
Like Twitter and Instagram though.
Twitter and Instagram too. Does she have like her blog also open or not?
A blog is open, but you can't go to anything. Like if you want to click on social media, you'll go to it says account private. And I do know. I was just wondering. I was like, why would someone do that? But I'm like, is there any advantages to that, or is that? No.
Personally, I don't see an advantage to that, but it's just up to the person's discretion. Yeah. Are there any other
someone follows you on Instagram and then their account is private? They follow you, they like your photos, and their account is private. It's ridiculous. Makes no sense.
Like you're not.
Whatever.
Yeah. Oh, question in the back.
Just out of curiosity, is there some kind of statistics, for example, how many articles, say, a day are submitted to Matador, and how many would you take, and any maybe guidelines to a good article that you would accept?
Definitely join our community because we work with people that we like are engaging with and that we know. Like, I'm not sure how many people submit articles on a daily basis, but I know we do take a lot of them, and we have a team of editors who are also very willing to work with you. Like if they like the idea, but like it's not being executed in the best way, we'll give you feedback. We definitely will give you feedback. Like I've definitely been the writer who would pitch to publications and just never hear anything back, which is always like a no. But Matador is a group where we will give you feedback because we also are a community of people that want to learn. Yeah. So. Any other questions or advice for me? I mean, I'm still learning all about this too. Yes?
Just to be extremely clear, what is the best way to submit to Matador?
We have the email address, the editors at Matador.u, or like you can even send me an email and I'll just like forward it to the right person. Sometimes I work on the editorial side, but you know, my head is down in social. Any other questions?
Do they pay for these freelance articles?
Yes, it's like a range depending on, you know, how much information or how much time. Or, yeah, yes.
Do you have to be a graduate of Matador.u in order to get paid to write?
I technically did not graduate from Matador.u, so no. But we do like to see you as part of our community. So if you are interested, join the marketplace. You'll see the types of titles and the things that we're looking for. It's a lot of like identity-based pieces or pieces about like where you're from. Like, you know, I'm from Philadelphia, so I write best about Philly for Matador, and I think it's a great place to start is to write about where you've been first, yeah, or where you're from really, where you're from. But yes.
Before we were talking about sort of different ways you can engage your audience on things like Facebook with slideshows and videos and whatnot. I'm wondering if anyone's ever used this new like live video situation.
Oh, the live, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So how is it?
Do you want to answer?
I mean, like, it's directly competing with Periscope. It pings your audience when you've started a Facebook Live, and then it saves it as a video that lives on Facebook.
Right.
I think it's super effective, but again, it's like also.
Want me to tell you later?
Yeah.
I also think like sometimes we speak very naturally on certain platforms. Like some people are just stronger Facebookers than other people. I mean, I met someone the other night who is like really, really, really strong on Snapchat. I still don't get Snapchat. It's probably important to get on there. I mean, Matador is on there, but I'm not good at it. I don't think I am good at it. But anyway, like you can learn about different platforms, but if you speak, just like stick to your voice. Like if you speak more about your experiences through images, maybe like Instagram is your thing. Like I know some people make a career just like based off of Instagram, just being an Instagram influencer. Instagrammers can make like stupid amounts of money. Makes me want to like get into Instagram. Yes.
How do they do that?
Again, it's like they really focused hard. Like Instagram came natural to them. They focused hard on building a brand on Instagram. they created like a network where they work with other Instagrammers on like content syndication, or, you know, to build up that audience. And just the consistency part, like just being consistent, even if it's one post a day.
Like, where's the actual money coming from? You know,
Oh, the actual
why are
money.
they
I'm sorry.
being-
A lot of companies want to like partner with big, they call it influencers on Instagram. So they will like ask like an Instagrammer, hey, we'll send you to this place. Can you do, the deliverables will be like 10 photos. And they get paid per photo. They get like flights out there. They're hosted. The food is free. A lot of them want a +1. So it's like you gotta cater to that too. They're like actually kind of hard to work with too. But like, yeah, they like totally make a business off of it. And like I've been on press trips where it's like they are an Instagrammer and that's their job.
Wow. Cool.
Yes. Any other questions or?
I have a question about Matador.
Yeah.
Well, so I signed up for Matador's class about a year ago. Before I signed up, I didn't really know about press trips. And now since, I've been on a bunch of press trips.
Yes.
And I've not finished my classes, which is not a thing to
No,
promote,
not a thing to promote, but it's okay.
But only because I have video stuff that I could.
Yes.
So, but I feel like that could be really interesting because I didn't know what a press trip was before.
Yeah.
Or how to get one, you know,
Yes.
get on one.
Yeah.
And how it would work too, because it's interesting to write articles and really cool that Matador provides that opportunity. But also, if you're part of the marketplace, you have access to apply to press trips.
Yes, you have access.
Really fun.
What is a press trip?
A press trip. This is, let's see, sometimes they're run by a PR firm, sometimes it's run directly by an organization, like a group called a DMO, Destination Marketing Organization. Yeah. So they want to promote their destination, they'll get like a budget each year, and they'll bring groups of press. And like those groups are starting to get more dynamic. It used to be very like traditional journalism. So if you wrote for a magazine or if you wrote for a newspaper, it'd be just like a group of writers from across the country, like different markets that these people want to target. And they bring you out and they go, okay, we're going to take you on this experience and then you're going to write about it. But now it's starting to, because of this new media, because of social media, they're starting to bring groups of people. So maybe there'll be like 1 or 2 old school like journalists. Then there'll be like a few bloggers or an Instagrammer or someone who now is like, you know, Periscopers are starting to go on, like people that have large engagement on Periscope are starting to go on these press trips, and they bring out this group of people to just cover a destination, or sometimes a hotel will have like a new service or a new, and they want it to be reviewed. So they'll bring people that write reviews. So in order, like some of my first press trips were when I was a blogger, and I had to create what's called a media kit. And I had no idea what a media kit looked like. And for some reason, other bloggers in the industry were like not wanting to just like even show me what their media kit looked like. So I was like, what is this? What is this like whole lockdown on your like media kit situation? So I had like made one out of like a shot from the hip, and like I got that was the Switzerland trip that I brought my mom.
I tagged along.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
But it was just basically, and I have my old one if anyone wants to see that too. It literally, yeah, it was just like a 1 sheet.
Yep.
I had a graphic, like I was a graphic designer at one point in my many careers that I've had like 5 years. I was like a graphic designer, so I did it in InDesign, but you don't have to do it in InDesign. People make them in Word. Yeah, just like a PDF of like an about statistics of like Google Analytics. I didn't even talk about Google Analytics, but does anyone use Google Analytics? Okay, just like your how many people you get per month, a little bit of like a description of what your audience looks like, how many followers you have on all your social, how many other publications or places that you've been featured. So you'll see it if you want to like see the media kit. Just say, hey, send me your media kit. It's somewhere
It's like a
on
resume almost.
Yeah, it's like a
It's
resume.
like a resume.
Yeah.
Something, I have a media kit, it's like a 6-page PowerPoint, it's really pretty, I paid someone to make it for me, but there are some services now that will take all your statistics and put it in a beautiful media kit right there.
Yeah.
I forget what it is, I think about it, or you could
Tweet it when you find it.
tweet it when I find it. But it creates a pie chart. It's really, I know a lot of bloggers that are using it.
I've seen media kits
You
in a
don't
lot
even
of
have to
different
like
ways.
drag and drop it. It takes all your information somehow.
Yeah, so I've seen it in a lot of formats, like a one sheet or like a PowerPoint, like a few slides. It all depends on what you want to cover. Sometimes even you can like, I went to Alaska, like that was another different kind of press trip. It wasn't like I applied for